Prosper log, show date 141102. It's been a while since I've been here, since we've been together again, but unfortunately I had to start this one off with a moment of silence for a couple people that I know of. First one, I don't actually know her. I have never actually met her, but I know her daughter. The first person I'm going to recognize for a moment of silence today goes to Janet Saskowski. I know her daughter Sharon. I worked with her in Germany. She recently passed away suddenly from an unknown illness, unknown to me at this time. And further, another moment of silence also goes out to a good friend of mine that I worked with in Germany. He's good at his job. My friend Nathan Tinsley. Ladies and gentlemen, please pause with me for a moment of silence. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, to paraphrase George Carlin, let's do a frickin' show. This week's entry of Prosper is brought to you by my good friend Josh Baker over at Beer and Song of the Day. www.facebook.com/Beer and Song of the Day. Also check out his YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/RedBowSocks. That's RedBowSocks. This is gonna be a long one. I got a lot of birthdays, a lot of stuff to get to. So let's kick it, shall we? This week's beverage of choice is Gouden Carolus Tripel, 9%. I'm trying to see. This says product of Belgium. Pop this top here. Let's have ourselves for the show, shall we? Proper opening apparatus, proper technique. Maybe. There it is. Folks, I just recently had to go through a 6-month certification in order to keep my current job. Needless to say, I passed my certification, flying colors. So, here we are. Do it again in another 6 months. This one's awfully heady for some reason. Oh well. Well, cheers and beers to all y'all. Or as I would say in the Klingon Empire, Kapla! That's not bad. That's not bad. Alright. Got birthdays clear back to the 5th. That's almost a month of birthdays. Can you believe it? Start off with the wonderful Crystal Silverstein. Now, Crystal is a graduate from Hagerstown Junior Senior High School, class of 2000. The last class of the last millennium. Good friend of mine, grew up with her. Crystal, I saw where you're recently expecting. Congratulations to you and your other half, and a happy birthday to you, albeit a little late. All right, next on the list. How about some love to Nick Turner? Now, Nick's a guy that I met back in 2007. Met him back in March of 2007. He's a good dude, good guy. Think the world of him. Nick, how's it going, buddy? Happy belated birthday to you. I hope you enjoyed and celebrated well, and I hope you enjoyed one of these. Alright, next on the list from the 6th. Gonna give a little bit of love to my better half's grandmother, Pat Clevenger. Grandma Pat, how you doing? Hope Okie treated you well on your birthday. Hope you're doing okay. Haven't heard from you in a while. Give us a shout sometime. All right. Next on the list. This gal is a gal that I actually knew in Germany. Angelyn Peed. Angie, sunshine, how you doing? Hope life's treating you well. Hope you finally learned how to play bingo. You know what I'm talking about. I'm kidding. Love you on that one. Angie, hope you had a good birthday. And I drink to you. Alright, next on the list. Audrey Bell. Now, Audrey's a real good friend of mine. She's an old friend of mine from back in my days in Hagerstown. I actually remember I made a tape for her the night before she moved to Portland. I made a tape for her. I gave it to her on her last day in Hagerstown. I walked her home. And Audrey, I'm glad to see life's treating you well. I drink to you. Alright, next on the list. From the 9th, we're going to give some love to Sue. I think it's Hertel. Hertel. I think it's Hertel, but I'm not sure. I knew her as Sue Miller. Sue, I hope life's treating you well. And I hope life's treating you well. I hope everything's going okay for you. If you need anything, look us up. Alright. Next on the list. From October 10th. Now, this is a guy I worked with for a couple weeks back 10 years ago. Talk about Jerry House. Jerry, how's life treating you, man? Did you finally retire? Excuse me. Did I read that right? Did you retire? Are you still out there working? I'm not sure. Jerry, hit me up. Hope you had a good birthday. Alright, next up. Moving on to October 11th. First birthday, Lisa Shrewberry. I knew her at one time as Howie Feltersnatch. Don't know how that came about, but at the same time, Lisa Shrewberry. Lisa? Did I just say Lucy or Lisa? Lisa Shrewberry. Happy belated birthday to you. Now, you're a big Voyager nut, if I remember correctly. Star Trek Voyager. 7 years of, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Nah, I'm kidding. Voyager has a place in Star Trek lore. It is about 70,000 light years away, but hey, Lisa, I drink to you. Alright, next up. This is a guy I grew up with, rode the bus with to school, Eric LeBoytu. Eric, how's life treating you, man? Hope everything's going well for you. Hope you had a good birthday. How about them Colts this year, huh? They're not doing too bad. They needed to win last week against the Steelers. But hey, I got more on football here soon. Eric, cheers to beers and a happy belated birthday. Alright, next up on the list. Gal that I haven't met in person officially, but I know who she is. I'm talking about Jessica Harris. She's another Colts fan from Indiana. Jessica, how's life treating you? Are you into real estate? Is that what you're doing? It's been a while. It's honestly been a while since I stalked your profile. But Jess, I hope life's treating you well, and I drink to you. Hang on just a second. Okay. All right. Last birthday from the 11th, Brandon Banks. Brandon, fellow Masonic brother, guy I went to college with for a little while. How you doing, bud? I hope life's treating you well. I hope you finally get I hope you're taking the chance to go through the chairs like I did when I was still back home when I went through Williamsburg Lodge. Brandon was actually there on the night of my installation. I was actually lucky enough to be able to. Excuse me. I was actually lucky enough to be able to conduct him through two, maybe all three of his degrees. Brandon, my brother, happy belated birthday. Alright, next on the list. From October 14th, Jenn Henriksen. Now, I haven't met her in person, but she is a die-hard Beer and Song of the Day fan. She is also a model. Jen, a happy belated birthday. I'm sorry it took me so long to get to your birthday. But I'll either way, I'll still drink. And I hope what I read on your Facebook feed is true about your daughter. I hope it is true. I drink to you. All right, next up. October 16th. Chris Bro. What's up, Broheim? How's life treating you, man? I saw that you have recently been pursuing other interests. Chris, my friend, I'm fortunate enough to have been able to work with you. I may or may not have said that enough, but I did learn quite a bit from you. I only wish I'd had the opportunity and the drive to learn more. Chris, happy belated birthday to you, my friend. All right, from the 20th, we're gonna kick it over to Natascha Smith, or T-Fab, Tasha Fabulous. I know I'm on the right track. I know I'm on the right track with that. I can't think of what exactly it is off the top of my head. But T-Fab, Sweet Levin says happy belated birthday. And he drinks to you. All right. Top off a little bit. All right. Had to top me off a little bit. All right. Next 4 birthdays from the 21st. I'm just gonna go bam, bam, bam. Just gonna hit them up. First one, Chris Oliver. Chris, how's life treating you? I saw you recently hanging out in Korea for some reason. Why in God's name would you do that? I worked with him in jolly old England, but like I said, he's hanging out in Korea now for some reason. Chris, I hope your liver's still intact, man. I drink to you. I hope you enjoyed one of these on your birthday. All right. Next on the list. Now, this gal I always seem to run into at the Newcastle Steak and Shake whenever I go home, whenever I take a little trip back to Indiana. I'm talking about Corenda Kobe. I knew her as Corenda Land back in the day. Corenda, I hope life's treating you well. I see that there's some big changes in your near future. Coming June 2015. Corenda, to you and your family, I drink, and I hope to see you again when I come home next time, whenever that may be. All right. This next guy I'm getting ready to give some love to, I played softball with for a couple years in Germany. Talking about James Walworth. Wally, how's it going, brother? Hope life's treating you well. Hope things are going okay for you. Wally, hope you had a good birthday. I drink to you, my friend. And last from the 21st, Manuel Stallings. Manny, how's life treating you, man? I saw you just retired not too long ago. Very proud of you. Manny, for that, I give you the Prosper Salute. Happy belated birthday, and I drink to you. All right. Excuse me. Ooh, I'm sorry. All right, next on the list. Gonna kick it over to the lovely Katie Hardwick. Katie, how's life treating you? Are you still in Italy? Are you still in Italy, or did you move? I think I remember seeing somewhere where you were in the process of moving. Kate, happy belated birthday to you. I hope Brian took very good care of you on your birthday. I drink to you. All right. Now, this next gal, I worked with her husband in jolly old England. Kayla Wilkins, did you and I ever actually meet? For the life of me, I thought we did, but we must not have. Kayla, I'm sorry I never had the chance to meet you, even though I worked with your husband enough. Hey, I don't even want to talk about those Steelers last week, but that's going to come up. I have a feeling that's going to end up coming up. To you, happy belated birthday. All right. Excuse me. All right, this next birthday, somehow his birthday was listed as October 4th. I swear your birthday was listed on October 4th, but it was actually one I missed. James Swiderski. I already wish you a happy birthday on the 4th. Hey, better early than late, right? And in this case, better late than never. living it up in Arizona with my friend Megan Mugallion. Jim, happy birthday to you, my friend. I hope Lena treated you well on your birthday. Alright, next on the list. Now, this next cat is a guy I graduated high school with. Talking about Josiah Oakes. Joe, how you doing, brother? Hope life's treating you well. I see you got yourself a nice family. Nice looking family. Joe, on your birthday, I drink to you. Alright. Next on the list. I have known this sweet lady practically my entire life. I'm talking about the one and only Joyce Dishner. Or Grandma Dishner, as I used to call her growing up. Now, I call her Grandma Dishner because she was like a grandmother to all the kids in economy back in the day. She is the grandmother of one of my brothers. One of my best friends is like a brother to me, Josh Chenoweth. Grandma Joyce, I hope life's treating you well. I hope you have more years to come. Even though you don't drink, I will drink to you. Next on the list, from October 29th. I'm almost there, folks. Just bear with me. From October 29th, the one and only John Broughton. He plays Captain Jack Carter on the fan series Starship Farragut. Go check out their page, give them some like, give them some love, share their page, get your friends to like it, check out their episodes. But to you, John, for keeping Star Trek alive, I give you the Prosper Salute, and I wish you a happy belated birthday. Alright, almost there. From the 30th, looking at my cousin through marriage, Stephanie Dimmitt. Stephanie, I hope Travis treated you well on your birthday. I'm glad to see that you're back home after everything you've been through the last few weeks or so. I'm glad to see you're back home. I'm glad to see you're doing well. I hope the kids and the pup are being easy on you. Stephanie, I drink to you. Empties the brain cells, the average Sequest fan. Time for a refill. It's going quick, folks. It's going quick. Alright, next up. From October 31st, just a couple days ago. I'm going to give it up to my man, Ken Cross. Ken, how's life treating you, brother? I see you're doing a different job in Germany right now. Now, when I first met Ken, because of where he was from and everything just fell into place. I swore he was a cousin. He was one of my cousins. Excuse me. I really did think he was a cousin of mine. But it happens, you know. Turns out, to my knowledge, he and I aren't cousins. But hey, at the same time, still a good friend of mine. Ken, I drink to you, my brother. Alright. Next on the list. How about some love to Lisa Menjivar? Now, I knew her as Lisa Ramey growing up. Lisa, I hope you had a good birthday. I hope Paul treated you well. And to you, I drink. Alright. Last two birthdays. Last two. From yesterday, from the 1st. This is a guy I worked with in Germany. He also worked with one of our moment recipients today. I'm talking about Randy Chavez. Oh, excuse me. Ooh, I'm sorry. This beer is making me rather gassy. Randy, how's life treating you? I'm feeling your pain right now. I'm feeling a little bit of your pain right now with Nathan. But hey, it'll get better. Things are going to get better for all of us. Randy, I drink to you. And the last birthday. You want to talk about a small world. I knew this guy in jolly old England, and now he's here with me again at Earth Station Okinawa. I'm talking about Luigi. It's a Luigi. The one and only Victor Heckman. Mustache, Luigi, whatever you want me to call you. I hope you had a happy belated birthday. It would have been better if Michelle could have been here. But It is what it is, man. But either way, I hope you had one of these on your birthday. All right. Whew. 20 minutes worth of birthdays. Holy crap. That's a new record on Prosper. All right, let's talk some Star Trek birthdays. Let's talk Star Trek birthdays, shall we? This first one, he turned 60 back on the 9th. Talking about Captain Archer himself, Scott Bakula. Captain Archer of the NX-01 Enterprise on Star Trek Enterprise. Next up on the list, from the 22nd, October 22nd, 1938, Christopher Lloyd. Now, if somebody's asking why am I mentioning Christopher Lloyd, because he played Doc Brown on Back to the Future. Hey kids, look, a deer! Go back to Star Trek 3. The Klingon commander, Commander Krug. Yep, that's him. He turned 76 on the 22nd. The next Star Trek birthday, from October 24th in 1939, F. Murray Abraham. Now, he played the Sona Commander Adar Ruafo in Star Trek Insurrection. He turned 75, and on the 27th, 1953, he's 61. Got to give it up to Robert Picardo. Yes, the EMH, or please state the nature of the medical emergency. Got to give it up to that man. He is 61. He is an incredible actor. Incredible actor. He even sang, too. He even sang on Star Trek Voyager, too. But to you four, I drink to you. All right. Real birthdays, Star Trek birthdays, done. Let's move on to my football picks for the week. Going from November 2nd to November 6th. I'm just going to start reading them off. But first, let me throw out everybody's on a bye week. Falcons, Bills, Bears, Lions, Packers, Titans. Good. Glad you're all on a bye week. Didn't want to have to jack with any of you anyway. All right. Buccaneers and Browns. I'm going with the Browns. Got to pick the Browns on that one. Cardinals Cowboys game. Let me ask the serious question to all you Cowboys fans out there. Are you guys looking at another 8-8 this year? You guys were doing so good. The Cowboys were doing so good this year that Tony Romo hurt himself in the Redskins game. Are you guys honestly trying to go 8-8? I mean, what's the deal? As Jerry Seinfeld would say, what's going on? Sorry about the little tangent. I had to go with the Cardinals because I think the Cowboys are done this year. I honestly think Tony Romo is hurt too bad for the rest of the year to be able to finish out the year, and he's not going to play. Eagles Texans. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm saying the Eagles on that one. The Texans just aren't good enough. Jets and Chiefs. I'm going with the Chiefs. Sorry. Jets have only won, what, one game? One, maybe two? There's only, yeah. After seeing what the Chiefs can do against New England, I just wish New England would have kept that up. But after seeing what the Chiefs did against New England, I'm going with the Chiefs on the Jets game. Jaguars, Bengals. Sorry, I'm going with the Bengals. Got to go with the Bengals. Excuse me. Even though the Bengals are really too inconsistent, I got to root for them. Chargers, Dolphins. There's only one time I thought about rooting for the Chargers. As much as I hate to say it, this just proves my loyalty. I honestly considered rooting for the Chargers when they played Denver. The only reason being is because I wanted to see the Chargers knock off Denver from the top spot in the AFC. Give Indianapolis a chance for the number 1, number 2 seed. Somewhere in there. I feel bad if y'all want to fly the bird at me for that one, that's fine. I honestly wouldn't blame you. I had to throw that one out there. But no, Chargers, Dolphins, going with the Dolphins. Redskins, Vikings. Both teams, honestly, they haven't been consistent enough. I'm going with the Redskins. Rams and 49ers. Really? That's like asking me, is the world flat? If you were to ask me, do you think the Rams are going to beat the 49ers? I'm going to ask you, is the earth flat? That's all I'm going to say. Broncos, Patriots. All right. Another tangent here. My friend Josh Baker has his famous Facebook bet going on, where when the Patriots win, the Broncos fans, the people that root for Denver, are going to wear Patriots colors on their Facebook. If the Broncos win, I'm going to wear Broncos colors on my Facebook. Yeah, he's got that bet going on. I'm going with Denver, as always. Anytime the Patriots are playing, I will never root for the Patriots. I'm rooting for Denver. I have a feeling that New England is going to win, but I'm rooting for Denver. And please let my feeling be wrong. Please, please, please let my feeling be wrong. End of tangent. All right, Raiders Seahawks. I'm hoping for a defeated season for the Raiders this year. I'm hoping they go 0-16. Frickin' thug punks. Going for the Seahawks on that one. Ravens Steelers. Now this one was a toss-up. We beat the Ravens, but the Steelers beat us. I'm talking Indianapolis. Honestly, I'm rooting for the Steelers on that one. All right. November 3rd, Monday Night Football, Colts at Giants. If I have to tell you who I'm rooting for on this one, okay. All right. In all fairness, I do have a rule when it comes to my teams. I won't root against Eli unless he's playing Peyton or Indianapolis. And I won't root against Peyton unless he's playing Indianapolis. There's some of you that don't know that. I'll go ahead and put that out there. But I'm rooting for I see the Colts beating the Giants. And November 6th, this is the Ohio Bowl. This is the Browns and Bengals. I'm rooting for the Bengals on that one. I just don't think the Browns have it. All right, I need a drink. Go ahead and empty the bottle. All right. Now, let's talk Trek, shall we? I've been gone for a little bit. Damn it! I actually had something else I was going to wear for this. Oh well. Let's talk Trek a little bit. This week's episode, The Conscience of the King. Basically, Captain Kirk receives a call from a survivor from the Tarsus 4 massacre, a colony of 8,000 that half of them were executed. One of nine survivors of the massacre diverted the Enterprise to his planet so that he could air out a suspicion. Come to find out, the man that called Captain Kirk to his planet is dead. He ends up dying. So Captain Kirk takes the stage company aboard in order to find out whether or not the man knew what he was talking about. Come to find out, there's another survivor who's aboard the Enterprise, who's an officer aboard the Enterprise, and Captain Kirk tries to protect him as well. What it all boils down to in the end is that the man is who Captain Kirk thinks he was. Kirk goes to confront him, and his daughter goes nuts. His daughter goes nuts trying to protect her father, and ultimately ends up killing her father. It's a sad chain of events, but hey, I thought it was an alright episode. I really did. I thought it was an alright episode. It's not one of my favorites, but it was alright. Let's go behind the scenes. The title is a reference to the line from Hamlet. The play's the thing wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king. Act 2, Scene 2. This episode shares many plot elements with the play. A leader's troubled conscience, his crimes being exposed during a play, and a daughter going insane, or more so in Lenore's case, after the accidental killing of her father. Lenore recites the lines leading up to and including these over her father's body. The most overt reference is in the teaser. The Caridian Company is performing a scene from Macbeth where the title character, played by Caridian, murders King Duncan and utters the line, "Will all Neptune's great ocean wash this blood clean from my hands?" In the script, the teaser started with a view of the city on Planet Q, with a poster advertising the Coredian company of players superimposed over it, then dissolving into the performance of Macbeth. It was probably director Gerd, that guy, who decided to start the episode in medias res instead, with the shot of the dagger, which seemed to be more effective on screen. Excuse me. Forgive me, I'm not good with French. A line scripted, but was cut from the episode, established that Kirk was a midshipman fresh out of the academy when he was stationed on Tarsus 4 and witnessed the massacre. Since it happened 20 years before the events of the episode, this would have indicated that Kirk is somewhat older than what was later established in The Deadly Years. It should be noted, however, that while Academy cadets enter as midshipmen, they graduate as ensigns. Good to know. A scene of crewmen watching the performance of Hamlet on the bridge was filmed, but cut from the episode. Makes sense. I mean, sounds like it wouldn't have anything to do with it. Just a filler. Another scene which was cut showed Lenore resting in sickbay after her mental breakdown. Which, in the last scene of the episode, Dr. McCoy says she's resting. She thinks her father's still out there. This episode contains Star Trek's first direct reference to eugenics, although there is an oblique reference in What Are Little Girls Made Of? Spock declares Kodos' martial rule of Tarsus 4 to have been an experiment in eugenics, causing McCoy to note that this wasn't the first such experiment. You know, I didn't catch that scene in What Are Little Girls Made Of? I might have to explore that a little bit. When Spock declines to have a drink with McCoy by saying that his people were spared the dubious benefits of alcohol, McCoy scorns Spock's refusal by stating that he now knows why Vulcan was conquered. This is contradicted in the Immunity Syndrome, when Spock says that Vulcan has not been conquered in his collective memory. Apparently Dr. McCoy may know something more about Spock's planet than Spock does. Who knows? Kirk refers to Riley as a lieutenant in the Star Service, another early name for Starfleet. When Lenore shoots Coredian/Kodos and kills him, she doesn't zap him into oblivion as the kill setting normally does, allowing her to weep over the body. This indicates that the phaser has more settings than just stun or kill, and it can be adjusted to different intensities. The same setting used by Lenore was used to kill the M113 creature in the Man Trap. Now, I'm going to go off the board here a little bit. Star Trek 6 stated that a close-range stun is lethal. For all we know, the phaser could have been set on stun when Lenore shot her father, as is the same with the M113 creature. But we don't know. I don't know how to read a phaser setting, sadly. The preview trailer for this episode gives the stardate as 2817.2. This is the only episode on the Enterprise, Kirk says, that conditions of this is the only episode to depict nighttime on the Enterprise. Kirk says that conditions of night and day are approximated as closely as possible aboard ship. However, in both Is There in Truth No Beauty and Requiem for Methuselah, various crew members bid each other good night. Near the beginning of the episode, Spock walks in on Kirk in the briefing room, and through the doors we can see two crewmen, played by Ron Vito and Frank Da Vinci, in the background across the hallway preparing to affix a door sign. Wonder what they're doing. James Doohan and George Takei do not appear in this episode. Eddie Paskey's character name, Mr. Leslie, is finally established in this episode. Hey, it's about time! Her walk-on bridge appearance and stern look at Lenore is Grace Lee Whitney's last appearance in the series. However, viewers see her for the last time in Balance of Terror, as that episode was aired a week later. In the script, Yeoman Rand interrupted Kirk and Lenore on the observation deck to bring Kirk a report. Excuse me. However, this event was omitted from the episode. 28 years later, it was featured as a dream flashback in the comic book story, The Dream Walkers. I'm going to have to check that one out. Whitney was already notified that she was fired from the series a week before filming on this episode began. Her limited walk-on scene was the last she had to film for Star Trek before her return in Star Trek The Motion Picture. She recalled, "By that time, I had already been written out of the show. I did the scene sober, but after shooting my walk-on, I went out to a liquor store, bought a bottle of wine, and brought it back to my dressing room. That day, I drank. I couldn't deal with the fact that I wasn't going to be on the show anymore, so I drank to anesthetize the pain. That was the only time I ever brought a bottle onto the studio lot." That's a shame, too. I mean, honestly, I liked her. I did like Grace Lee Whitney. I liked Yeoman Rand. I think it had potential. I really do. All right, that's enough of that. Excuse me. In the original draft, a Lieutenant Robert Dakin was the young man whose parents had been murdered by Kodos. When Bruce Hyde was cast in the role, the staff realized he played the character Kevin Riley in The Naked Time, and rewrote the role to feature Riley instead. Riley was a navigator in the former episode, but in this one he's a communications officer, who at one time was transferred from engineering, but he still wears the gold command shirt. Probably because it was more cost effective to put him in gold than to make a red shirt for him. I don't know. It is the first episode featuring the computer voice, although a talking computer was featured in Mud's Women. Voiced by Majel Barrett. I bet you didn't know that one, did you? Memory Alpha didn't know that one either. Memory Alpha, for you. Hey kids, look, a deer! Joseph Mullendor's score for this episode would be heard again in Court Martial, Shore Leave, Space Seed, The City on the Edge of Forever, and in the teaser of The Return of the Archons. The Star Trek theme song is performed by the lounge band at Tom Layton's party. This is the first time the Star Trek theme has been played as source music. The other times this occurs in the original series is later in the episode when Kirk is speaking to Lenore in Coridian's cabin, when Ariel Shaw enters the bar in Court Martial, and when Kirk, McCoy, and Tanya Burrows run to Sulu's position in Shore Leave. The dreamlike song sung by Uhura is Beyond Antares. Nichelle Nichols got to interact with the Vulcan harp again in Elan of Troyes, but that scene was cut. In The Changeling, she sings a portion of that song without an instrument before Nomad interrupts her. Kirk's quarters are labeled as 3F121. The preview for this episode features an alternate edit of Kirk searching for the overloaded phaser in his quarters. It was unused because the plywood under the mattress of his bunk was visible. Guest star Barbara Anderson, who played Lenore Coridian, shares the record with Ricardo Montalban and Joan Collins for the most costumes worn in a single Trek episode by a guest star at 6. She wears a maroon-colored dress for her Lady Macbeth costume, a blue dress with a veil at the party thrown by the Laytons, a fur miniskirt dress when arriving on the Enterprise, a greenish multicolored mantle on the observation deck, a black and red evening dress when Kirk visits the Coridians in their quarters, and finally, her yellow and lavender Ophelia costume. It could even be argued that the veil she wears while walking with Kirk just before discovering Tom Layton's body could be considered a possible 7th costume. Honestly, I'd call that an accessory, though, because I'd have to go back and double-check the episode to see if she was wearing the same thing, and if she just added the veil. In my opinion, if all she did was add a veil, that's an accessory. In the original series, this is the only appearance of the observation deck. It overlooks the shuttle bay, called here the flight deck. McCoy's cabinet has 2 skulls in it for the first time in this episode. The pressure vent disposal drawer, into which Kirk places the overloading phaser, would later be used by Lazarus to cause a fire in the alternative factor. The small drawer would be filled with circuits for that scene. I'll touch that episode later. I'll touch that alternative factor bit later. In the scene where security guards are searching for Kevin Riley in the corridors, rectangular seams are visible in the floor. This is where the grates visible in Charlie X and other early episodes were eliminated and filled in with the corridor floor material. I'll have to go back and look. Oh, excuse me. The equipment-filled alcove that McCoy and Spock pass in the corridor as they discuss Kodos the Executioner is labeled Engineering Circuit Bay G-121. This sign was later placed next to the Jeffries tube in Season 2. The city in the background of Tom Leighton's window is the same one used as Mojave in The Cage. The window itself was used in the Delta Vega lithium cracking station set in Where No Man Has Gone Before. The chair in which Leighton sits just before he rises to reveal his black facial patch would later be seen with its mate in Chief Vanderberg's office in The Devil in the Dark. The ship's theater is a redress of the engineering set. Pieces of the ship's gymnasium are hanging on the walls, and the ceiling can be seen of this set in one of 3 glimpses in the first season. I actually remember that. I remember seeing that now. The observation deck is a redress of the Romulan bridge set from Balance of Terror. The Caridians' quarters aboard the Enterprise appear to be a VIP suite, the only one of its kind seen in the series. Just inside the door is a sitting area with an oddly shaped bed or couch. The same bed was seen in Captain Pike's cage in The Cage. Further back, behind the grating, are 2 doors leading to separate bedrooms. Finally, 2 walls of the sitting area feature the same inset bookcases that were last used in Pike's quarters in The Cage. Excuse me. Chairs are shown by the panels in engineering. They are never seen again. The face covering Tom Leighton wore to hide his injuries is almost identical to one worn by a character in The Duplicate Man, 1964 episode of The Outer Limits, which was also directed by Gerd Oswald. Matt Groening, creator of The Simpsons, named his recurring alien characters Kodos and Kang after the characters in this episode and Day of the Dove, respectively. Stating that this was his favorite episode of the original series, writer Ronald D. Moore commented, "I like the backstory of Kirk as a young man caught up in a revolution and the nightmare slaughtered by Governor Kodos. I like the Shakespearean overtones to the episode as well as the use of the plays themselves. And I absolutely loved Kirk in this episode. A troubled man haunted by the shadows of the past, a man willing to lure Caridian to his ship under false pretenses, willing to do one of his more cold-blooded seductions on Lenore, willing to fight with his 2 closest friends and risk his entire command in the name of justice. Or was it vengeance? Kirk's aware of his own lack of objectivity. His own flaws can be in this hunt of a killer. Did I read that right? Yeah. But he cannot push the burden away and refuses to pull back from his quest to track down Kodos no matter what the cost. It also has some of my favorite lines in the original series. The scene with Spock and McCoy in Kirk's quarters is one of the series' highlights. The brooding tone and the morally ambiguous nature of the drama fascinated me and definitely influenced my thinking as to what Trek could and should be all about. Consequently, in his reimagined version of Battlestar Galactica, executive producer Ronald D. Moore named the prison barge Astral Queen after the ship commanded in this episode by John Daly. Here's one y'all probably didn't realize. In the Enterprise 4th season episode In a Mirror Darkly, Part 2, the future biographical information displayed for Hoshi Sato states that she was one of the 4,000 people killed by Kodos on the Tarsus colony. However, it should be noted that creator Mike Sussman never intended for the data to be readable on screen, and on his website he says to take that biographical information with a grain of salt. Well, Mr. Sussman, I have something for you in that regard. You put it on the screen. It was legible on the screen. Guess what? Hoshi Sato was killed at Tarsus 4. You don't like it? I got something for you. Alright, time to finish the rest of this here beer. empties the brain cells of the average Sequest fan. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's good to be back on YouTube. And with that being said, it is time to make my way out of here. So y'all take care. Have an awesome night or day. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And if you do, name it after me. Don't drink and drive because, well, you might spill your drink. But more importantly, you might kill yourself. Or somebody else. And drinking and driving is dumber than being a Sequest fan. And what's dumber than that is rooting for little stuck-up crybabies like Tom. Giselle won't let me go to the Pro Bowl, and I gotta face Peyton Manning, and I gotta bribe the refs so I'll win the game. Brady, men slapping women, racism, animal abuse, fake friends, people who welch on bets, or anybody that is a member of, supports, or defends the Westboro Baptist Church. Things like that are just plain stupid, and I ain't got time for that. So ladies and gentlemen, y'all take care, have an awesome night and day, and, as always, live long and prosper.